Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. If you're watching this on Monday or Tuesday, happy day, happy life. Let's make the most of it. Let's go. Carpe diem. This session will be on Turlings. I've got three questions related to school and the coronavirus. All right. But before we get started, you deserve a dad joke for watching this optional session on questions with Mr. Peo. So here's your dad joke. Why didn't the skeleton cross the road? He didn't have any guts. It was a good one. That's why I picked it. That's why I said it. All right, so here we go. Do you think we'll go back to school at all? You're a little bit behind the boat, sister. About a week ago, I think word got out that we're not going back to school. So hopefully you figured that out by now, because we're definitely not. So here's the adjustment. You school will be ended sooner. That's the good news. We only have about 4 weeks. Mid-May, you'll be officially done with school, and you have a longer summer, hopefully, to go and go out in the public again. What's the purpose of final exams, and what's going to take its place? Nothing's going to take its place. They're just going to combine your third and your fourth quarter, and that's your semester grade. And that exam just disappears. Bye bye. That's it. All right. Uh, what is a good way of remembering assignments and dealing with stress? That's a tough one. Everyone's different. A lot of people are going to handle stress in different ways. I would say this. And I've seen this in the emails y'all been getting. It's recommended by the school that you print out your lesson plans for the week. So whatever teacher you have, you just go to class, go to Runweb, lesson plans, print so you can see it on a wall and you check it off. You cross it off as you go through it. Make your checklist for the week. You probably only have one screen, one computer, and things get lost on that one screen. Lay it out, write a to-do list, get it on paper. Okay? I would start there. Use your planner if you've got one, just like you would if you were in school. Okay? And then you've got the stress of did I miss an assignment or not? Well, worry about the first one. Worry about a better way to remember assignments. Have a friend who's in a lot of your classes, or at least shares the same teachers. Have a touch base with a friend over the phone, and have an accountability partner. Hopefully, you have a friend like that at Turlings. If you don't, we need to work on that. But I would say get it on paper and call a friend to help you. All right. And if you do that, that might help you with stress. So take care of that. If you're still stressed out, email me. And fourth question, how will grades go about with us not going back to school? Like I just said, it means school's a little bit easier. You got easier grades for your fourth quarter. You're going to have a higher GPA. Hopefully, you can enjoy that part of this difficult situation. All right, so those are your questions about school ish things. Questions on the coronavirus. I have a question about life. Do you think life will change because of the coronavirus? Will life ever go back to the way it was before? Yeah, you're going to be a senior next year, and you're going to be in school. We imagine, we believe, we expect. You're going to be walking around, and you will have learned things from this coronavirus experience. But I think most days you're just going to forget about it. Some things will change. Teachers will change. Teachers have had to do more online. Maybe you get more online work. I don't know. I don't know yet. I've never seen this before. Nobody has. Our culture, our society's never seen this before. So things will change. I just don't know in what way. Um, one question I have right now is why don't just bad people get punished? I don't understand why good people that are really trying have to get punished. Like with the coronavirus, many good people were laid off, no longer have supportive jobs to help their families. Why? Why? I don't get that, Mr. Bam. The long answer, of course, it could be. You need to go back to last semester, go to where we talked about the anointing of the sick, and I want you to go to the part where we talked about suffering, why it's got a lot of suffering. Maybe he wants those good people to be great. Maybe he wants to stretch them further. Maybe he wants them to have an even greater faith. He's got a bigger plan for them. Some people are going to have to go get a whole other job. Maybe that whole other job is so much better for them and their family. Um, at the end of the day, it can help everybody. It can help the good and the bad. So you need to have a greater faith that if God brings us to this, He's going to get us through this. If God brings us to this, He's going to get us through this. All of these questions in italics basically say the same thing. When is this going to end? Will we ever have a vaccine? What's my opinion? Will things ever go back to normal? When will social distancing stop? How much longer are we in quarantine? They're all basically saying the same thing, so I'm lumping them all in together. I don't know. I think we should be optimistic that at the end of May, life looks pretty normal. Now, granted, it's the summer, excuse me, but I think there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. You know, some states are going to be opening things up slowly over the next 2 weeks. You know, and Louisiana's been hit pretty hard, so it may not be 2 weeks, but we should hope for a month. We need to be prepared for that. You need to prepare for the worst. You know, 2 months. You need to be committed and ready to stay in this fight of discipline and doing the right thing. Okay. Um, all right. Will people just get sick again when we go out? Maybe, maybe not. We don't know. But hopefully not. Hopefully we'll still be. When we go out in public, there's not going to be large events. Um, there's not going to be any physical contact. Hopefully with people. It's. We're going to wait till this. Coronavirus largely passes, and will it come back? I don't know. It could. And so yeah, that's going to have an impact on how we live our lives. Um, they're working on a vaccine. I'm sure there will be one. I don't know if it'll be in the next month, year, or decade, but I'm sure we'll find a vaccine for it. Okay, so all those questions. Um, you know, I think I think you should hope for a fun summer, June and July being glorious. Now this is a harder question. One question is how to go on with life during this quarantine. I'm going to tell you who asked me this tough question. How do we deal with just being locked in our houses pretty much for such a long amount of time? You need to watch the next question video, and I'm going to answer because a lot of people ask a similar question on a spiritual level. So, whoever asked this question, what do we do now that we're still inside, we're still bored, and we're so unmotivated? Da, 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 da. Go watch the other video. I'm going to answer that one in greater detail there. I think the governor canceled school a little too early. No, no, I think it's a safe call. I think everybody in administration knew it had to happen. You go to school, you're so close to people, and so many people. If one person's going to have it at school, everyone's going to get it. Undoubtedly, I think the governor made the right call. And in a perfect scenario, yeah, we could go back for May, but we shouldn't expect the perfect scenario, and we need to plan for that. So, um, do you think that China made this disease by hands, like the media is saying? I don't know. I'm not a reporter, nor am I ever have. I've never been to China either. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. I just hope we find the truth and that it never happens again. That's the only thing I can hope for. I'm not going to point fingers and come up with conspiracy theories when I don't have any facts on the matter. So I don't want to point any fingers. One question I have about life right now is I heard and witnessed so many people turning to God during this pandemic. So, being that is what He wants, do you think the world will be made a better place? I think so. I think when this all ends, I think we're going to be a little bit nicer to each other. Some people may be more religious. Some people like church was canceled. I miss church. That is a part of my life. Hopefully, this time has allowed all of us to ask some hard, deep questions. And so, yes, the real question is, will it last? A lot of times we have a hard life experience, we learn from it, we move on, and then we go make the same mistakes. How long will it last is the real question. But I do think a lot of people have had an opportunity to become greater and better. I wonder what is true news anymore. Why are so many people just jumping to conclusions? Oh, people want answers. People want to cast blame. People want security, knowing that we'll know when we can go back to life as normal. And so people are gonna jump there, and you don't know whether to jump with them or not. Just hold tight, do the safe thing, the best life you can until we can do more. Do you think there will be a second wave of COVID when they let us out of quarantine? Maybe there could be a second wave. Um, well, like I said, we've never seen this before. So either way, you should get some hand sanitizer, scrub your hands, find some good soap, and trust in God. I just don't understand why we're shutting down the world for a virus that kills 4% of people. All right, why are we shutting down the world, which is a bit of an exaggeration, but we're shutting down a lot of everyday life for a virus that kills 4% of people? Well, if it was your mom or dad that was in that 4% of people, you might have a different opinion. So you need to be a little bit more sympathetic, I think, to the people who are losing loved ones. If you had diabetes, like many millions of people do, if you had asthma, like many millions of people do, and you knew that if you got the virus, you have not a 4% chance of dying, but a much greater chance of dying, maybe as much as a 50% chance of dying. If that was you, you'd have a different opinion. So try to put yourself in other people's shoes, um, and make some sacrifices, for life, for human life, which comes before everything else. It comes before money. It comes before success. It comes before fun. Okay, because if we just open everything up and more people die, it's a lot of people that aren't going to have fun for a long time. A lot of families that are hurt. All right, make sure you put life first. Last question for this session. I 100% know that the coronavirus is not good, but do you think that since we have to stay inside, we're being helpful to Earth? That is one good thing that's come out from all this. There's been a lot of good things, but one of them is there's less factories in operation. And so there's actually a funny story in India. It's the first time you can see the Himalayan mountains because there's no pollution blocking your view of these beautiful mountains. That was a popular article about a week or two ago. That is a beautiful thing that we should enjoy and breathe the air in a little bit deeper when we go outside. Those are your questions. Those are some answers. Hope you're hanging in there. For those of you that are not hanging in there, there's a lot of hard questions coming up in the next question session. That'll be a separate video. From Louisiana, this is Mr. John Paoletti